Despite the start of summer, a season when Canadians do not traditionally pay close attention to politics, the party backrooms are hard at work with 3 new attack ads out just yesterday. 2 are from the federal Conservatives, one English and one French. Both go after Thomas Mulcair and the NDP. The other is from Jean Charest's Liberals and takes on Parti Québécois leader Pauline Marois and her support for the rioting students in Montreal. To help us break down these ads and talk about political ads more generally, we're pleased to be joined by political strategist Rick Anderson in Toronto. Rick, great to see you.
Good afternoon, David.
This has been sparked, both these ads have sparked a lot of discussion online in various forums. Let me ask you first about the Conservatives ads. They have refrained for so long from jumping in and doing something against Thomas Mulcair. They're picking on him now. I wonder if you have some thoughts about the timing and the fact that it's, well, I guess taken them so long to aim at the new NDP leader.
Well, it has been, I think, a longer time than normal. There's a couple of, or a longer time at least than past practice from the Conservative Party. And I think I would mention a couple of things in that context. First of all, the Conservatives have, as we all know, a majority government now, and that makes them, that puts them in a different position where, you know, people are always prone to accusing them of bullying their opponents and so on. That's a standard refrain you hear about this government. To do that, to go on quotes unquote the attack when you are a majority government, you've got to be more careful about it. And so I think that's one of the things that one of the reasons they didn't go into this more quickly after Mr. Mulcair became the party leader. But I think the other reason is, you know, obviously keeping an eye on the polls. Mr. Mulcair's doing reasonably well. And it's probably, you know, people are probably thinking it's about time to start engaging in a policy debate with him. And I think that's the reason for the ad, and the rationale behind the ad's content, and the reason for the timing.
Let's play a little bit of this, the English language NDP ad.
Thomas Mulcair's NDP have some risky economic theories. They think strong growth in some industries is a disease.
And of course, Rick, this goes on to the idea that Mulcair raised himself, suggesting the Canadian economy suffering from Dutch disease, our dollar is artificially high because of oil sands production, and yet that message from Mulcair has been out a while, and as you mentioned, the polls are showing a lot of Canadians kind of think he might be onto something. So I wonder if there might be a bit of danger for the Tories in drawing attention to this.
Well, there always is when you make an issue out of something, but I think the Tory calculation here, David, is that more people at the end of the day are going to agree with the government's position on this, which is that we want to encourage the development of energy projects across the country. We want to do so responsibly, but we want to do it. And that most people will, at the end of the day, not agree with Mr. Mulcair's position. And that's why I think they've chosen to cast a spotlight on this discussion.
Let's take a look now. We're going to play the ad that the Liberal Party of Quebec is releasing against Pauline Marois. And I can talk over this ad because there's no words that go with it. It's just simply Pauline Marois, there she is, banging some pots and pans, les casseroles, as she joins some protesters. That's it. That video is actually shot by a Parti Québécois member. And got to give props to our friend Paul Wells of Maclean's, who pointed this out this morning. This ad, it seems to me the Liberal Party Quebec is betting that most Quebecers will see Pauline Marois as too Montreal, too much of downtown, too hip. And this is something maybe English Canadians don't pick up on, that you can exploit that cleavage in Quebec, Montreal versus the rest of the province. And again, maybe a bit of a risk there for Jean Charest that he thinks the rest of the province will be with him.
Well, I think this is a terrific ad, actually, David. You cut it off just before it switched from the picture of Pauline Marois to the signature block at the end of it. And what was striking to me about this ad is that the Liberal Party actually said nothing at all. They just played that tape, which you just played, of her marching in that demonstration, banging the pot lids, and being part of the street scene. And then it fades away to brought to you by the Liberal Party of Quebec. And the point they're making, I mean, it's very interesting the way it's approaching the voter. We're going to let you decide for yourself what you think of this. And of course, the symbolism of what they're representing there is extremely potent this summer in Quebec. There's a serious underlying fiscal issue there. There's a serious underlying political issue about tuition policy. And Mrs. Marois is actually on the short end of public opinion. in the position she's taken, and she's also contradicted her own self and her former party leader Lucien Bouchard, she previously and him still support what the Charest government is doing on the tuition increases. So they've kind of used this ad to cast her as being with the students, which, while an engaging bit of television for the last few months, is actually they're not actually well supported by the Quebec population, whether it be in Montreal or elsewhere. So I think it's a very powerful ad.
Rick Anderson, we've run out of time because there's so much more I wanted to talk about political ads, but let's have you back sometime. Hope we can do it. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.